I'm actually muted. All right, guys, if you can see me and hear me, can you please tell me yes or something in the chat? I just want to make sure you guys can see this properly. And then my cat here, she was the first to join the live. Here, say hi. Say hi. Beautiful kitty. Hi, EDC. Can you guys hear me? No? Yes. Can hear you now and see you. Okay, perfect. Good. Perfect. Okay, I guess there's a little delay. Guys, I'm like figuring out technology here in real time. So maybe you guys are tech whizzes, so you don't even, you can do this with your eyes closed. For me, it's like, okay, what's happening? So I'm so proud of myself. I figured this out. Okay. Hi, Heath. That's awesome. Good to see you guys. All right, if you don't mind, we're just gonna wait one more minute because it's not fair to wait too long since you guys were on time, but I'll wait one more minute because I know that there are other people that said they were gonna join, so I just don't want them to miss too much. In the meantime, I hope you guys are well. I don't know where to look. I wanna look at you guys, but it looks like I'm looking at the screen here. So I'll do my best here to keep eye contact. I'm excited to do this, guys. I hope you have some questions for me. Either way, I already have some questions that people have been asking under some of my videos. So I'll be answering some of those as well. So in fact, let me pull that up. So I have it ready to go as well. Lorraine has already asked some questions, so we'll definitely make sure to answer those. Okay. Okay. We'll figure this out as we go. I'll start by answering the questions you guys have in here. Okay, it's 10:03. I say we start. Thank you, Lorraine. I just dropped off my daughter, so this is my school run outfit. Okay. All right, why don't we go ahead and start answering some questions? And again, I am, just like the last time, I have time to go for a while. It really will depend on questions. So if, you know, once we're finished answering all of them, then we'll just stop it there. But otherwise, if you keep them coming, I'll keep answering, okay? So it's really up to you. All right, so let's start by answering one of Lorraine's questions. She asks, question for the 25th. Since you say there are no past lives, but you then say that individual essences have incarnated again, please explain. So that's an excellent question. And I do believe that in the midst of all the information we've been given to date, and it's quite a lot already, I think the hardest thing for all of us, I know for myself for sure, to wrap our minds around is the fact that time is a construct. So there is no time, everything is happening at the same time, basically, as a parallel experience. And the way that works is that everything is available right now for us to experience, even things that we individually might, or collectively, might consider to be in the past. Like, for example, previous takedowns in the multiverse. That's one example that the 25th always brings up. Like even the previous takedowns, game war takedowns that have happened in the multiverse are there available for us to experience. If we were interested as essences in experiencing those, in reliving them, in living through them, we would be able to switch our focus to that reality and see it happen right now. So I know it's a difficult concept, but here's an analogy that helps me and hopefully helps you. And I would love to hear your feedback in the chat if you think this is helpful, or if you have a better way of thinking about it. I'm all ears. But here's one analogy that I love that kind of makes it make sense for me. And then I will delve more into the specific of essences having reincarnated in our personal experience and what's really happening there. So it's like having a DVD in your DVD player under your TV, okay? So say that you have a DVD of a movie in there. The movie is there, except that it might as well not be if you're not watching it. It might as well not exist. For all you know, you intellectually know it's like, oh, I left the DVD in there, so there's a movie in there. But truly, you don't know. For all you know, somebody might have taken the DVD. There might be no movie on that DVD. It might be a bunch of stuff. Basically, it's not really real. It's just a concept you have in your head. But if I turn on my DVD player and actually watch the movie, now I'm like, okay, I'm ready to watch this movie. Turn on the DVD player, the movie starts playing on my television set. Now it's real. Now there is an actual movie there. Not only, it's not even a movie for me, it's reality, because now I'm all focused on that reality. That movie is real for me. I'm not thinking about my groceries. I'm not thinking about what's happening in a different country. I'm all enthralled in my movie. That's where my full attention is at. Okay. So in that sense, what happened? The movie has always been there, but it wasn't really there because for me, because my focus was on my daily reality or doing something else. If I'm in the shower, I'm not watching the movie. If I am taking my daughter to school, I'm not watching the movie. So the movie is not really real. It is only becomes so when I watch it. So even though it seems to be there, it's not really there. And what I mean by that is that time-wise, it only becomes real in the moment that I look at it. So this is how I explain to myself, how it makes sense to myself that all realities are available at all times. But until we switch our focus to them, they're not really real. So for me to say that this movie was in the past, unless I'm in the case of a particular movie, I say, oh, it was made in the past. It really wasn't in the past, was it? It's only going to become real when I see it. Okay. So it's really the present. When I watch that movie, it's my present. So to answer in a specific, Lorraine's question where she talks about people. So for example, say my grandmother passed away. Okay. My grandmother did pass away. My beloved grandmother has been gone for over 30 years now. So if I ask the 25th and the 25th tells me your grandmother has now reincarnated in the matrix. So to me, her experience with me, her interaction with me in my personal, in my individual, in my current incarnation feels like a past life. Okay. Because she's not here anymore. I cannot experience her while I'm focusing on this reality. Okay. However, it's not really a past life, because if I wanted to relive that experience, I could switch my focus to what we consider from a 3D perspective, the past, and I could relive that. In fact, this happens in dreams all the time. If I dream of my grandmother, I am not aware that it's the past, am I? Because there is no time in dreams. And that is real reality. So time, we think of time as being, for us in 3D, time is a very big concept. It's a very big structure that we put around things. And we think that things run along based on time, but they really don't. So for example, one of the ways that we look at time is that we say, oh, look, the plant is growing, or this child is growing, or I'm getting older, therefore it must be time. But it really is a choice. It's a new experience the essence is experiencing. It's not because of time. We explain it to ourselves saying because of time, because of course we don't want to know that we are doing all of this, but we are doing it. And proof will be in the fact that, well, we even have proof here and I'll mention in a second, but proof will be in the fact that very soon, none of us are going to be aging anymore. So time never existed. If we have the option to not age and we have the ability by focusing on remaining the same because we project our bodies, we don't age, and this time is not real. And in fact, I don't know if you know this, if you run into this already, even scientists in 3D right now on our planet, they tell you aging is not real, it's not a thing. What happens, what we consider aging, when people change, maybe sagging skin, wrinkles, lines, whatever it might be, it's actually a disease. And we know this, besides the fact, again, there have been studies done but we know this just from a commonsensical point of view, just from an observational point of view, for the simple reason that different people age different ways. There are people that are 90 years old, they look like they're 60. So is aging not working for them? Is time not passing at the same rate? And that's what it is. It is a matter of focus, what we focus on. So again, my grandmother, if I wanted to re-experience life with her, I could, except of course, because we have lived through these experiences, as much as we might miss these people and love them and still think of them, we really are not interested in reliving that experience. That's one reason, for example, the 25th talks about these previous takedowns in the multiverse. And they say that the reason we are not really reliving them and we consider them the past is because as a collective, as a multiverse collective, we have already absorbed those experiences. So we're really not interested in reliving them. In fact, right now, we're all enthralled and we're all excited about this particular takedown. So everybody's focusing on this. So this feels real and it feels current to us. It feels present. It feels like it's happening now because this is where we're focused on. So me doing this live, I'm focused on this live. I can say the live is happening now. But even in 2 days, when I look at this live, technically, if I pull it up, the live is happening at that time. There is no past and there is no future. And again, I realize this is hard to wrap our minds around. But when you start getting into, into the explanation to why we feel a certain way about time, then you realize it's really just a made up concept that we use because it's just convenient. So I hope this kind of shed some light. I know it's not, the concept of time is a tough one. So, all right, let me see here. Okay, I just got an interesting question. Excellent. Hi, Helena. That's a beautiful name. I hope I said it right. Okay, so let me look here to see. Lorraine, please let me know if that shed any light on your question. So I want to make sure I respond fully and in a clear way. Okay, so Lorraine, you have also said that we as essences only exist within one experience at a time, and yet we are existing at the level of the 25th and at the level here now on Earth. Please explain. That's a great question. Okay. So this goes to the root of the issue, right? That we are multidimensional beings. So what does being multidimensional mean? Means that, again, we do exist everywhere because here, what we consider being here is not real. So really, where is our essence hanging out? Our essence is always hanging out in the 25th, as you're saying here. We are always in the 25th, and we are never detached from the 25th. The only question is, sometimes some of us, and of course we're thinking in individual terms, there is no individuality in the 25th. We're like air, as the 25th is said to us. But some of us, we want to experience something different. And so what we do is we come into these, think of the Matrix as a simulation chamber, okay? Just like a video game. It's not real, but we basically want to hang out, or we want to pretend that we're hanging out in furnished environments or environments that have furnishings or lights or whatever. And the reason I say furnishings is because I don't know if you guys recall the very first session I had, the first visual I had was me having a meeting in something that looked like a castle, a conference room inside a castle in the 14th dimension. And then when we asked, so where are we from? I was brought up to the 25th to show me that basically that's where we're all from. That's where we all are, except that we choose to meet in the 14th because it was comfortable. That's what they said. It's comfortable here. We have furniture. We like to pretend that we're sitting around and on comfy chairs. Okay. We're doing exactly the same thing right now in 3D. This is not real. None of this is real. So we are in the 25th and we are all connected. But we want to play this game where we pretend now, we focus and basically shut out everything else. We're like horses with little blinders, and we want to forget that basically there's anything out there. So we're going to focus on this reality and pretend this is real. I'm looking at this computer is real. No two ways about it. Truth is, I'm in the 25th, just like you guys are. And for all I know, while I'm doing this, I might be hanging out on the 9th dimension as well, because energy is everywhere and we are all connected. So not only it's us, I'm going to complicate things just one bit now. Not only it's us, but again, because there is no individuality, we're also expanding ourselves through other people. So just because of the simple fact that somebody else might be hanging out in Japan or might be hanging out in a different place, it means that's where I'm also hanging out. I'm actually aware. If I actually opened up my field, I would be aware of that experience happening right there. Because that's the thing. It's a same story they tell us about the 25th. We know all. We're aware of everybody's experience at all times. How does that happen? Because there is no individual experience. I don't have to go back to the 25th and say, hey, Lorraine, here's what I did today. You already know. And this is how it works. We are everywhere for the simple reason that energy is everywhere. You cannot limit energy physically. We just limit our attention span, our focus. And that's why it's hard for us to wrap our minds around the fact that we could be here and there and a million other places all at the same time. Because the truth is there are no million other places. There's only one place, which is this emptiness, the 25th. And from there, it's almost like we use our imagination. So we imagine being in other places. That's really what is happening. So I hope that explains it. Please do let me know. All right, let me see what, I love these analogies. I'm glad. I am glad. Okay, and some, I can't even take credit. Some of the analogies are used by the 25th to make me understand, because of course I'm a 3D person. So I have the same questions that everybody else has, like, some of the questions you have, I have asked as well. So let me see, next question. And guys, this chat in YouTube is super sketchy. It just jumps around. So sorry, it takes me 1 second to go from one to the other. Okay, Lorraine. Is the 25th within the matrix structure? All right. So, no. What we mean by matrix is basically the field where we let our avatars run around. The avatars can be our bodies here in 3D, or it can be aliens, however they look. And some look like humanoids, but some might have 3 heads and 8 legs for all I know. I have no idea. We know we're already told by 25th, some people live underwater, so I'm sure they look different. I mean, we can look a million ways because, again, it's just a mental projection. There is no right or wrong in how we look. And so this is considered a matrix. Basically, everything that we create out of our imagination, because really it's what it is, the 25th and the 25th, we've imagined things, basically, and we've created them, is considered a matrix. The 25th is not a matrix. The 25th is real. If you want to think of real, that's actually the only real place. We were created by source. We're given a space to hang out. Again, if you recall from my first session, basically it's this empty, dark space. It looks like outer space, what we consider outer space, and we're just hanging out there at all times. So no, the 25th is not part of the matrix. The only thing that's not part of the matrix, besides source, obviously. Now, if you guys, I don't even know if I put that out yet. I have a video coming out about this. I don't think it's out yet. Yeah, it's not. Okay, so I'm going to tell you something that I haven't even released yet. Source, it was explained to me that source creates a ton of other things outside of the matrix. So that's also real. Okay. So for example, like angels, source has created angels. Angels are not within the matrix, meaning that we as the 25th have not created them. We have created everything within the 25th, within the matrix. The 25th has created everything within the matrix. Now we allow some angels, not all angels, because there's so many of them, they're another collective. We have allowed some angels to perforate, that's the word that the 25th uses, to perforate the matrix, because we wanted, the explanation for this is because we want to celebrate God. We love to celebrate God and what he creates. So we allow this particular reality that's outside the matrix to actually also be available within the matrix. But God creates, continually expands, and therefore he's created so many things. I asked the 25th, so what else has he created? And 25th said, we're not even privy to everything he creates, because for all we know, he's created other dimensions we're not even aware of. For all we know, there could be a 31st dimension, a 50th, but we don't know. So that's the long answer to your question, that, yeah, we're not within the matrix, and there's so much outside the matrix and the 25th. All right, let's see. Let's scroll back. Okay. Okay, Mr. Complex, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. Okay. All right. Okay, Butter Miskeen. Hello, Clea. I have a question for you. My girlfriend was obsessed with the medical medium and the celery juice and fatty liver. Is that legit? Okay. So I don't want to talk about people when they're named by names. You guys know I do this. Sometimes I ask about people because I'm curious to know how the messaging out there works, what kind of reality we're being asked to focus on, what kind of ideas are out there, basically, for our consideration. But I never name names because it's not, as you guys know, the 25th says this all the time. I say this all the time. Nobody's better than anybody else. And everybody has a path. And everybody has to use their own discernment. And as we grow, as long as the intention is to grow or to find the truth, we will find it. It doesn't matter where we start. Okay, what matters where we end up. So for that reason, I would never want to step on anybody or push down anybody. It doesn't matter what their story is, because even say there's somebody who's infiltrated or somebody who is ego, coming from ego, you know what, even they have their own past. These are people, right? And everybody has their own story. And many times these stories are not happy stories. So it is not my place to come across as being judgmental. It's just not even my personality. I don't do this. So in this case, I don't necessarily want to speak to the medical medium, because it's not for me to say whether, I know where it's coming from or not. And basically they are telling me where it's coming from. However, I will answer this question to the core of it, which is, in this particular case, for example, saying celery juice, does that work or not work? Let's take anything. Okay, so let's not even refer to celery juice necessarily. What works? And there are a million people out there telling you, you should do cleanses, you should do detoxes, you should do whatever it is. Can it be good for you? Absolutely. If you believe that something is good for you, it's good for you. If you believe that something is not going to do anything for you, it's not going to work, it's not going to do this, it's not going to do that, it's not going to work. It doesn't matter how good it is. The corollary to that is, if something that everybody thinks is bad, like for example, these things, you think is good, it's not going to hurt you. If you believe that even something that you would think logically, there's nothing healthy in there, these are all substances, they're toxic, and now I'm having them injected inside of me. If you believe this is good for you, nothing will happen to you. And you might be thinking of the people that passed away from this is because they chose to use that as the reason why they were going to pass away, not because that is what took them out. In fact, the 25th has explained to us that the dark is trying all these things, has been trying all these things. They think they can take essences out of the game, but they cannot. No one can tell an essence what to do. The essence is free. So to go back to, for example, the celery juice or whatever it is. Celery juice sounds healthy to me. Okay, love it. Fresh, vegetable, lots of light frequency, great. But if I thought for my own personal needs that whatever, it's not real, it's all baloney, everybody's telling you it could be water. I'm like, everybody's telling you whatever is good, whatever they have to sell, which I don't think the medical media sells celery. But just as an example, it wouldn't work for me. No matter what the medical medium or anyone else is telling me celery juice is so good for you, it wouldn't do anything for me. I'll give you an example with medicine. This happens with like pharmaceutical drugs all the time. They have, they will tell you, for example, that a aspirin will take your headache away. I have this idea that this particular type of aspirin, I won't even say the brand, doesn't work for me. I'm here. I have lots of friends who tell me this works, is amazing. I've taken it. I'm like, because I don't like pharmaceutical drugs and it's just my own preference. And I've taken this thing, nothing. I might as well have had a sip of water. It did nothing for my headache. But I already thought it wasn't going to work. So guess what? It's not going to work. In other words, what we decide is good or bad for us is what's going to be good or bad for us. And it doesn't even have to be something physical. It could be an idea. And I don't know if I had this video come out yet. It might be another video that I've scheduled to come out. But basically, one example the 25th talks about is CBD. I asked them, I said, is CBD good? Because they seem to be, there are so many people who are taking it, CBD oil, and they're finding benefits out of it. And they said, actually, CBD was created by the dark and it wasn't supposed to be good. But because the light side started spinning the idea saying it is good, and because people taking it believe it's going to be good for them because of this, all of a sudden it's good. Do you see how that works? it's about what you think you're going to find. If I expect the CBD is going to make me nauseous if I have it, doesn't matter how good it is. Doesn't matter even who put it out. It's not going to work for me. So it's all about what we want to believe in individually. So I do hope that answers the question. Thank you again for the question, Butter. Okay. There is only now, yes, Lorraine, there is. Okay, let me just go back up, scroll back up. I don't want to forget anybody here. Akari, hello. I actually have one of your questions that I'm going to ask the 25th as well. So I just want to say I really appreciate you guys' questions, not only today, but in general, even under the videos. That really, because sometimes I don't think of some questions and I'm always interested in finding out more. So that's really helpful. I do appreciate that. Okay. In Japan, 12 a.m. Oh my goodness, Akari, you are lovely. That's very nice. Thank you. Thank you for being here. That's late. Okay, EDC. Hi, Clay. I have a tough question. Should I have Cocoa Puffs or Cheesy Puffs for breakfast? Oh, it's a tough one. I'm gonna have to ask the 25th. I'll get back to you on that. Can you hold for a few days before having breakfast? I don't know, EDC. I mean, if you really are committed, you should be willing to do this. But anyway, that was funny. Okay, Lorraine. So to consider that we incarnate is really just that an individual essence is just spoken itself into a new experience. That is absolutely correct. In fact, you can connect, and the 25th always tells us this, we can connect to anyone in the multiverse that we know from our quote unquote past at any time, because it's all present, right? And as long as we don't disturb their reality, because they might not want to remember their past life with us. But say that I want to connect with my cat, who's still a cat somewhere else. Cats don't have amnesia. I'm going to be able to connect with my cat who, quote unquote, died 30 years ago. I'm going to connect with this cat because it's all present. She'll remember me. So in that case, I'm not disturbing her. She doesn't have to pretend that she doesn't know me anymore. With my grandmother, I wouldn't do that. If she is reincarnated somewhere, having a new focused, now experience, I wouldn't go there and say, hey, I'm your granddaughter from your quote unquote past life. But yes, absolutely. It's just a focus situation. Okay, Akari. Okay. If we are from source and that we can create / manifest with our imagination, does everything we have imagined already exist somewhere if it's not in our current dimension yet? Okay, so that is an excellent question, Akari. We are from source. Okay, I even had, and I'm guessing you saw it, but if you haven't, do check it out. I put out a video I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago about my mystical experience, message from God. And basically, I just saw it. I saw how we are made, quote unquote. So we are absolutely from source. And we can create, manifest with our imagination. That's what we use. That's correct. Does everything we have imagined already exist somewhere? Yes. So there is no past or present. So everything we imagine exists. And not only, it exists because the moment you imagine it is real, except right now, if you're not aware of it, it's because you're focused on this dimension. And what is the cool thing that we do, right? That we do in this dimension? We pretend that nothing else exists. I'm sure there are other dimensions, and this is going to be the case with us in New Earth, where we'll be aware of all realities at the same time. We'll be able to focus on a different part of the galaxy and know exactly what's going on that planet. Right now, in this reality, we're very limited because that's how we want this game to be. We want it to be dense. We want to forget even our previous lives, previous again. we're using English, so we're going to use the words that we use, to understand each other. But basically, all of that is real. I mean, even when I was younger in this lifetime, it's still real right now. If I wanted to focus on that and think about it, like people, for example, who have dementia or who have forget their reality or their present moment, what we consider to be present moment, and go back to the past and live in the past, that's real to them. That's a reality we created, and it's real to them, like as if it were happening right now. So yes, absolutely. The answer is yes to your question. Everything exists. If you can imagine it, it already exists, because our imagination, our intention is all powerful. This is how we created everything. This entire planet, which already seems like such a big deal to us that we created an entire planet. And imagine we created a multiverse that's infinite almost. Even this, we created from a thought. The 25th is specifically said, the only thing that gives reality, that makes reality real, is our focus on it. If we all moved our focus away right this second from this reality to something else, say the Pleiades, this reality would fall apart. It wouldn't exist anymore in a millisecond like that. So absolutely yes. Okay. Akari, if so, does that mean that even the creative efforts of authors, writers, artists, etc., already exist somewhere, even if it hasn't manifested here, no matter how fantastical, fictional they are? Absolutely. What is fictional about unicorns? We're like, oh, unicorns don't exist. Who said that they don't exist? Unicorns are real as everything else is. We always have this categorization, the separation, say this is more real, this is less real. Nothing is more or less real. We choose to believe that this is real and unicorns are not real, but meanwhile, we see them on television. What is the difference between seeing something on television and in real life? And this might seem like a silly question, but let me put it to you this way. The 25th, and I just put out that video about Ukraine, the 25th explained to us what is the difference between believing in the war in Ukraine, for example, and we see it on television, supposedly the media is telling us the truth, so it's out there, it's real, and watching a movie. When you're watching a movie about war, the whole point of a movie is that you are completely focused on it and you basically are there. Your attention is there. That is real. You forget about everything else. So what is the difference? You're still seeing it. And interestingly, you're still seeing it on television both times. What is the difference? To the mind, it's nothing. I'll tell you something more. These are scientific studies, okay? These are done in 3D. Our brain, and you might have heard about this, I'm sure some of you have, our brain does not know the difference between something that is real and something that is an idea. Our brain does not know the difference. In fact, you probably heard about high performance athletes, what they do now to prepare for their matches or their competitions. They will practice in real life, but most of what they do when they're not practicing, they are reliving, like they are setting up, they visualize how the event or the match or the competition is going to go, because their brain thinks they're still practicing. That's what's happening. The brain does not know the difference between something that is real and not real. In fact, there are even, you might have heard about this, it like blew my mind when I heard it. There was a person once who, in the talk, I've seen this talked about in different cases because it's such a fascinating thing. There was a person once who got on a wagon. This wagon, it was a train wagon. This wagon was a refrigerator wagon. This person got locked inside somehow and was convinced that, of course, being a refrigerator wagon was going to die. This person was going to die. I don't know if it was a woman or a man. Probably, I think it was a man, but I'm not sure. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So this man thought this was a refrigerator. He got locked in. Nobody heard him, was banging, nobody heard him. Basically, they found him the next day. They finally freed him, and the person was dead from hypothermia, basically from freezing to death. But guess what? It wasn't connected. There was no electricity. The wagon was not refrigerated. The guy would have perfectly survived, except that he believed that he was going to die from hypothermia because it was a fridge, basically a refrigerated wagon. So just to tell you the power of the mind. I mean, this is real. We know this, okay? Okay. Okay, 1 second, guys. So I hope that answers your question, Akari. EDC question, what is the diameter of our sun? Because flat earther says tiny, globe earther says huge. So I don't know the answer to this question. They give me, so I told you this before, I wanna say it again. They do give me information, like if it was an answer, if it was certain types of questions, I'll get an answer right now, just as I read it. If I go in meditation, it's like hypnosis, they'll give me the answer. I've not had a chance to meditate in the last 2 days. And I know you asked me this 2 days ago, I have it written down, and I've not had a chance to have a session. I will have it this week. So EDC, you're on my list. I'm going to get you this answer, okay? Because I'm super curious too. Now, the other question, the question are all viruses fake? Now, this I do want to answer now. And in the sense, partially answer. I am going to find out from the 25th when I actually sit down and have some peace and quiet, and I'll find the answer for you one way or the other. But in this case, you had a follow-up to this, which was, how do we get a cold source? Viruses, I personally believe, as a 3D person, that viruses are not real, but that's just me, and I have no proof, right? It's just the idea that I choose to espouse. But at the same time, even if two people had a virus, or you could do a test and say these two people have viruses, and both people could have completely different responses to the virus. So you're saying cold source. One person they might have the same virus that technically causes cold source. One person might have a cold source, the other wouldn't, because it depends on what they believe. If one person believes, oh, I'm prone to getting cold source, the person will get cold source. The other person might say, I get nothing. They get nothing. Okay. So it's more about what is real, right? Or what is fake. Is a virus real in 3D? I don't know. I will find that out for you. But bottom line is, we go back to what we were talking about earlier. If you think that a virus can do bad things to you, you will be prone to it. I can tell you for myself, things that I thought were due to a virus, like for example, when I have colds or have sore throats, etc. That's the 25th, and they told me it has nothing to do with that. And not specifically asked about viruses, but they told me that had nothing to do with that. In fact, a lot of what we call symptoms of things is because it's basically our bodies, our 3D bodies, trying to clear, integrate the debris that we carry back from our astral travels, which is what we do all the time. As you guys already know, having watched my previous videos, we're not here very much. So now I'm focusing on this. So I am here, but normally my attention is somewhere else, because our bodies, which are NPCs when our essence is gone, are capable of taking care of all these little chores and the little repetitive tasks we do on a daily basis. So we're really more gone than we are here, even during the day. Okay. So hopefully that kind of for now answers some of your question, but I will get the full answer for you soon, EDC. I've not forgotten. Okay, butter. As a follow-up to celery juice, is MMS along those same lines then? The dark has been working very hard to shut it down. Okay. I will add a piece of information here. Yes, same story. MMS could be a miracle situation and still, or maybe I should even be careful not to say this word because that's censored. They might shut this all down just because I said that word. It's that crazy what we're dealing with in terms of censorship. But basically, yes, it could be, it's the same story. It could have been created by the light in this case, just like a lot of other things are created by the light, like plant medicine. And then the dark might decide, oh, that's too easy of a switch, of a trigger. What am I referring to? Again, it's a matter, everything works the way we expect it to work. However, we do leave codes within the matrix, and not just this planet, but let's focus on this planet. We have left codes for us on this planet to take us home, basically to remind us of who we truly are very, very quickly. So it's a trigger for that switch, that focus switch to happen very quickly. Because maybe if I want to connect to the 25th, like in my case, maybe I can take years of work until I finally find my way. As opposed to me doing a plant medicine experience. Many people, for example, do ayahuasca, whatever it is. And within, an hour, a day, I don't know how long it takes, they connect to God. That's much faster, isn't it? This is what I mean by codes. Very well, this could be a code, something that is being kept within the matrix for the people who are ready to find it, to have that particular experience, to help them basically bypass the denseness and the slowness that we experience here, to quickly connect to what their higher self wants them to connect to. Because remember, every time we do something like this, it's because our higher self is wanting us to know it, to do something that's going to help us. Why? Why do I know this? Because there are people that it doesn't matter what is out there, they will never find it. And the 25th does talk about this. All the truth of everything is out there. But many people are playing the game where they don't want to know all these things. So we have left these codes for the ones of us that want to know these things. It doesn't mean that this has to be the truth for everybody. It doesn't mean that this is the only truth for people. People will find the truth that they're comfortable with, the one that they find acceptable in the form that they find acceptable. A lot of people, for example, will never do plant medicine. It's not acceptable to them. One specific example for me is I would have never connected to the 25th dimension, for example, by speaking light language, because that's not something that seems natural to me. For me, okay? Because, for example, I have no issue watching anybody speaking light language. So isn't that funny? So it really is a personal choice. So for me, I'm like, okay, let's have hypnosis because that's perfectly acceptable to me. And this is how it works with this particular ingredient you're talking about as well. So why would the dark try to shut it down? Because they're part of the game, right? And they want us to not all remember that this is a matrix. And things like these, all the things that they do try to shut down, like plant medicine, is because otherwise it's too easy to find them. So they are helping us believe in this matrix in many ways. Now, sometimes we would do without so much help, but that's the point. Basically, these are our teammates, and all of us really at the very root of it, we are all interested in preserving this matrix. Now, at this point, we're past the 11th hour, we're not going to preserve it, but this was what we were focused on. And so everything we set up was because of this. Oh, and just as a specification, a detail about this, when I say these codes are being left for us by ourselves, I mean that we've left them throughout resets, because as you know, we've had 5 resets here. If you watch my previous video about this, and because of these resets, we eliminate a lot of stuff. We change a lot of things. We even change the look of the planet, but we don't. And sometimes we change the way that our bodies function, like when we went from crystalline to carbon-based, but we leave some of these codes throughout for us to find them. For example, plant medicine. Plant medicine has been around through all the resets. All right, Akari. Yeah, me too. What I believe and affirm to myself will manifest. Absolutely, Akari. That's where it's at. And once you realize that, it's powerful. I am getting better at it, I have to say. Excuse me. It's very dense. It's a very dense reality here. So it's not always easy. I'm actually going to ask a specific question. I'll do a video about manifestation and what is really blocking us sometimes. Because my question, Akari, is, and maybe you have a thought about this, please do put it in the chat if you do, is what happens when many times we think we want to manifest something. Say I want to manifest a new job, okay? And I'm like really intent, okay, and I know all the rules of manifestation. Okay, I want to, I'm going to believe I already have it. I'm going to feel like I already have it. You know, all the rules that they tell you when you want to manifest something, you got to feel like you already have it, because otherwise you're manifesting lack, all of that. Sometimes it doesn't matter how much you want to manifest something, it doesn't happen. And then you find out it's because it wasn't meant for you, meaning that your higher self didn't want you to have that experience because it wasn't really good for you, meaning it wasn't taking you in the direction you have chosen as an essence. So my question is, how do we know when our essence is on board or not? Because otherwise we're just wasting our time, right? Maybe I want to manifest financial independence, but maybe it's not my path to be financially independent, because maybe if I become financially independent, I go hang out on a beach and I don't make videos, and maybe I'm supposed to make videos because my essence wants to experience spreading this information. So there is a lot of depth there that I want to explore, and I will be doing. I have all these questions written down. I'll be doing a video about this, Akari. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good question. Okay, Helena, can I ask a personal question? I was given my soul name, which is not Helena at all. Okay, how can I use my original soul name, and what powers has it to know that? How can I spend for? How can I spend for there? I think you missed a word there. Okay, I'm not sure. How can I use my original soul name? I mean, it depends on what you do. I mean, I would just use it. Like Clea is not, quote unquote, it is my real name. I'm not a spy, but it's not my actual name. And I use that because it speaks more to my soul than my actual legal name. And even though it's not a shortcut for my name or anything, it's just a name that I love. My mother gave it to me, but it's not an actual name. And so what power has it to know that? I do believe that everything has the power you give it to it. So our names mean nothing, really, unless you think they mean something. And I will tell you why I believe this. And I am going to absolutely ask this question. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a picture of this so I don't forget it. Okay. I'm going to ask this from the 25th, Akari. So I'm sorry, Helena. I will get this for you. So here's the thing about names, interestingly. I started having a feeling that on New Earth, I'm going to have a different name. And I started thinking about it, and the name actually came to me. But before all of this came into my view, where I was actually thinking about it, I thought, I love the name Clea because it really feels special to me. And I went to, and I was thinking, when I go to New Earth, I'm going to be Clea, because to me it matters, okay, for different reasons, not just because it's my name. As I said, it's actually not even my real legal name. And so if something matters to you, then it has power, okay? Basically, it's almost like a magic wand. If I think this pen is a magic wand, I will be able to do magic with this pen if I truly believe it. And this is how powerful we are. So if you want to use that name and you feel like when you use that name, you're super creative, or you can manifest magic, or whatever it is that you think that name will do for you, it will do that. And it might just be another code for you, something that you have to, quote unquote, remember and be like, now that I've reconnected to the part of myself, I'm a completely different person. So again, it depends on the weight that you put on it. So I hope that answers your question for now, but I will actually get to 25th to weigh in on this. So thank you for that. Excuse me, guys. Believe it or not, I'm not used to talking so much. That's why I cough. And okay. Eve, I'm hearing many conflicting stories about what is happening to us right now from qhht/BQH sessions. If someone connects with their highest aspect during an hypnosis session, can they be misdirected? Okay, so that is an outstanding question. I've actually asked that before. So it's not that it's outstanding because I've asked for it. I've asked her because I had the same question. And here's why. When I did my first hypnosis session, what I thought I was going to get was the same thing everybody else gets when they do qhht. I had read Dolores Cannon books where she talks about people connecting to their in-between lives when they're aliens, or their higher self tells them stuff about their lives. I actually sent to the hypnotist, to Carolyn, I sent 8 of my friends before I went. I grilled all my friends after their session before I even had mine. I wanted to know what to expect. All of them are telling me, oh, my higher self told me, I asked about my parents. They told me what's going on with them because they passed away, or I wanted a new job. My higher self told me I'm going to get this job, not that job that I want. Things of this nature, which are super important for the person. Okay, this is great information. This is great guidance. I always tell everybody, have a QHHT or BQH session. They're awesome, okay? When I went, I was shocked. I didn't go to past lives. I didn't do any of that. I didn't go to my higher self, as in the sense of just telling me, hey, this is what's going to happen with your daughter. This is what is going to happen, in your work life. None of that. And I did have personal questions that I wanted to ask. Instead, I connected with 25th, which is our collective higher selves. And they're giving me this information about the cosmos. Why? Because I've always known, and you see it's intention. I have always known my purpose here was to bring about certain types of information. I've always known it, and I've always been after the truth. So everything comes together. It's like a chain you set up for yourself. This is my interest, even though it was behind the scenes, it's always been my interest. So for me to get this information resonates so much. It even resonates that I would get this very high level information as opposed to information about, my cats, my plants, how are my plants going to do? Doesn't mean I don't get that. But if you recall, if you watch my first hypnosis session, the 25th came in, spoke about what we're looking at in terms of the multiverse or this particular planet. And when Carolyn asked about, okay, so we would like to ask some personal questions for Clea, they're like, who? They didn't even know they were connecting through me, because Clea, this body, is nothing. So of course they couldn't care less. It's like, what happens to my job? And not because they don't care, because they don't care, like they're bad. Okay. They don't care as in they're so focused, like my focus was to bring out certain high level information that would apply to so many people that it didn't really matter to me at the end of the day, because I'm the one who's doing all of this, is my higher self. It didn't even really matter what's going to happen to me. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to find out what job I get just by moving forward, So what the point of this is that everybody that connects will get what they need, what they can handle, and what their higher self believes is important for them to know. And you can't just go to the 25th, and not everybody's meant to go to the 25th, because first of all, that might not resonate with a person. Secondly, that might not be what is relevant to you. Maybe what you have in your mind is that, oh my goodness, am I divorced from my husband? This is all that is obsessing me right now. I need to know what's going on. And that's what matters to you in that moment. So everybody's getting different information also because it is not unfiltered. Again, your higher self filters ideas that resonate with you as the recipient of the information already. And I'll give you an example. If you watch this video, if not, do go check it out, because this will answer this question even in more detail. I speak about Journey of Souls, which is a book that was written by a hypnotist. His name is Michael Newton, I think. And this book has sold like 700,000 copies. I mean, it's very well known. In fact, I had 3 different people tell me about this book in the period of like 1 or 2 weeks. And normally when 2 people tell me about something within a short period of time, I know that basically my higher self is telling me to look at it. So I will. So I read this book. Super interesting. This book basically talks about people under hypnosis that have connected with their higher self, and what they saw was in between lives. They saw hierarchies, things that happen. They were saying everybody has to go through a certain cleansing process. Then they meet with their soul group, and then they have to learn all these things. Then they choose what was good, what was bad, what they need to redo, and then they go back into another life. And it was a very consistent message, to the point that this hypnotist, who's done like hundreds, if not thousands of interviews, hypnosis sessions, he's saying this is how it works. Okay. And he's putting out these books, like, again, the title, Journey of Souls, as is, this is the truth. This is what happens to everybody. I was the 25th about it because this information was so structured and so different from what the 25th told me. And what the 25th said is, these messages, even the experience itself, not just the fact that the messages are being spread, the experience of the people wanting to have these hypnosis sessions, these are 3D people who want to either are very religious or maybe are not very religious, but they don't want the higher level information. They're maybe just getting opened up to the fact that they are multidimensional, that, this matter is not all that is real. And so they need to be given a structured order to what the afterlife looks like. Okay. They would not be able to handle the fact that this is a game. None of it matters. We could change it at any time. Because think about it, somebody who's suffering and is looking for guidance and for some kind of comfort doesn't want to hear that everything they've gone through is nothing. Maybe I've just lost my husband and I am bereaved, and I want to hear that it's okay. He's going to be with our friends. I'm going to see him again. So everyone gets what they are ready to receive. So absolutely, you're hearing different message under qhht, because everybody has to filter information through what they can handle. Nobody's going to get information they cannot handle. I can totally handle, and in fact, I've referred to it in some videos. I can totally handle the fact that this is a game. In fact, even before I connected, one of the things I always say, and anybody who knows me, has known me for a length of time, knows that I think life's a game. I have always said it. I didn't know where it was coming from, but I've always known. I'm like, oh, it's just a game. Now I know the reason why I was saying that. But this is why this information is going to come through me and might not come through somebody else, because we are all different in this sense. Okay. And that's why I always say we will be resonating, we'll be attracted to what we are ready for. You guys clearly are ready to hear that this is a game. And I'm sorry, this is not an earthquake. It's actually my cat touching the computer. And so that's why you'll get different messages from different people bringing the messages through. Okay. Doesn't mean that higher self is lying. Okay. If that's what was one of the questions that you had in the back of your mind. All right, let me move on to the next one. I'm taking a long time to answer these questions, but I want to give you a complete answer as much as possible. So hopefully that's okay. If I'm like taking too long, tell me. It says, oh, we need a yes or no. I'll do that. I'll do better. I'll try to do better. Akari, that's so amazing. Oh, good. perhaps what the Gen Z were saying about reality shifting, where they found themselves being aware of themselves in a fictional reality, is actually possible. Absolutely. Absolutely, Akari. You've got it. This is it. People will come with different, the messages, the truth is out there, right? So people will come up with these things. Now we might just dismiss and say, oh, they're crazy. But it's if you believe in that idea, it's true for you. And it might not be a crazy idea. A lot of these things that I hear are actually not crazy. We just are supposed to ignore a lot of these ideas because otherwise it does take us out of the game. Okay. So yes, you're absolutely right. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. This is really my pleasure. This is so much fun for me. I hope you guys are having fun too. Okay. Akari, we are indeed limitless. Yes, we are. Imagination is such an amazing tool to have fun and create. Yes. How about dreams? Are dreams actually realities that exist somewhere? Yes, absolutely they are. In fact, the 25th always says we like to make things complicated for ourselves. We get the truth every night when we sleep, except that we disregard it, dismiss it, saying, oh, it's just a dream. In fact, what do most people do? We don't even remember our dreams because we really don't want to know. But in our dreams, we're just traveling. We are aware of being traveling because guess what? Our ego mind is shut down. Our conscious mind is shut down. So now we're actually focused and aware of being focused on where we normally go. And we do this during the day too, but during the day we have the filter in place, right? So absolutely dreams are real. EDC, you're very welcome. Excuse me 1 second. Otherwise it's going to be a coughing fit from now till the end. I'm like, I need to do something to train my vocal cords. I don't know. Lorraine, please like and comment. It helps. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Lorraine. Yes, it does. If you could actually comment under the video later, because the chat and the video sometimes are different. So yeah, I would love that. Thank you so much, guys. I really, really, truly appreciate your support. I was just telling a friend of mine today, if I didn't have you guys, I mean, while I do feel like this is my duty, what I'm doing right now, and that I'm here, you know, this is my purpose, what I'm supposed to do. If I didn't have you guys to interact with, it would be very, very hard for me. So I truly appreciate you. I hope you don't feel like there is a relationship here where I'm doing this and you guys are doing, you know, just watching. That's not how it works. We are all one. We are creating this together. Okay. And I truly mean that. This is happening. All of us have come together to make this real. It would not happen if you guys weren't here, just so we are clear. Okay. You're very welcome, Helena. Christy, love Journey of Souls. Yeah, I enjoyed it too. It's just, you know, for me, once I found out the truth of how actually things work, I just don't resonate with it anymore. But I can totally see how this can be a good intro to opening up to spirit, to more things. And I mean, way back when, probably 20 plus years ago, I read, what's it called? Oh, Many Masters, Many Lives by Brian Weiss. I thought it was real. But see, that was part of my path. So I started opening with that, and then one more thing, and then one more thing, maybe Journey of Souls, and all of a sudden here I am connected to the 25th. So it all works. That's why there is no judgment. Everybody's doing their piece, is offering a piece of the puzzle, right? So thank you for saying that, Chrissy. Yeah, I do like Journey of Souls. I totally enjoyed it. Manda. Hi, beautiful lady. Thank you, Manda. I'm just back from the school run. Glad I caught this. Oh, I'm glad you're here. And I also finished my school run before I started this, so I get it. Okay. Guys, why is this acting so weird? Okay. Heath, very familiar with Journey of Souls. Good. I found it incredibly troubling. A mirror of the hierarchical control structure down here. Absolutely. But if you're just trying to detach yourself from religion, this would be a good first step. So absolutely, I agree with you. Some of us have had experiences that have already brought us to bypass certain things. I found Journey of Souls a few months ago, so of course I was already past it. But again, I read Many Masters, Many Lives, which is very similar. I read that 20 years ago. That was the ultimate to me at the time. So there's a time for everything. You clearly are past that, okay? But again, there's no judgment on any of this. So it's just we are where we are supposed to be when we are supposed to be. So yeah, thank you for that comment. Heath, thank you for that brilliant explanation of how you came to this information, Claire. Absolutely, you're welcome. I love how you apply critical thinking to all you present. Thank you. You know what? The 25th always makes fun of me about this in a good way. They don't make fun of me in a bad way. And I seriously don't matter because I want it to be real, okay? I question even all the information they even give me. I question everything and I have to filter it through my brain because it has to make sense to me, okay? Because if it doesn't, I mean, let's put it that way. If it doesn't make sense to me, How am I going to pass it on to you or even explain it to you? Whereas I know there are people, this is just my own belief, my own limitation. Okay. I'm not saying this is the way it has to be for everybody. There are people that do act like prophets. And my goodness, not to take anything away from them. And they have such faith, they get it and they pass it out and say, this is what God told me. This is what the 25th told me, whatever it is. And you know what? I'm not a prophet. So for me, it has to make sense. But I can only imagine how difficult that is, what these other people that just have this faith do. I truly am in awe of a lot of people that have gone through this and before us, before this time. There is so much, we get focused, or we are asked to focus on the low vibration on this planet. We're always asked to focus our attention on people that have done things that we consider bad. For example, that's all the media is about, right? There is so much beauty on this planet. There are people doing amazing things. Even people that doing what we consider normal things. They're just being nice to their neighbors. They are amazing. I am always in awe of what the human species is capable of. So this is just a reminder for me. So thank you for saying that. Okay, EDC. I'm a video game developer. Oh, that's awesome. That's why this makes so much sense to me. And yes, and isn't it funny, because nothing is coincidental, that you would be in that industry and that you would find this information. I'm sure there are video game developers that are completely shut off to anything that's spiritual, but look at you. And to you, it's like, yeah, obviously, that makes sense. There were avatars. I mean, this is brilliant, EDCs. I'm so glad you said that. Akari, me finding you near the end of this board game feels like my higher self probably structured everything to learn everything in that order that would be manageable for me. Absolutely, same here. Why am I connecting now when they're telling me, yeah, we're taking this down basically in 3 days? I'm just saying 3 days to exaggerate. Yeah, I was like, oh, interesting that you would give me this connection right at the end. But I think it's because we need it. And we need it to, for when we're going, this is the kitty coming to say hi again. And we need it for when we're going to New York. In fact, I said, where are we even getting this information? What's the difference? We already decided to go to New York, so we're going. And they said it's because this information is going to be a known fact on New Earth, and therefore we're spreading. We started to spread it now. Now the 25th, and I have this coming out in a video as well. The 25th actually has a plan for this information to actually spread to beyond just our new 7D planet, our new Earth, and so because they want more of us to enjoy the game while we know it's a game. It's almost like you're playing Monopoly. You know you're playing Monopoly, okay? You choose to be lost in it, but you still know it's Monopoly, it's a board game. Whereas now we believe this board game is actually real, right? So there is a plan by the 25th to have, by us basically, to have this information spread to a big part of the multiverse. And again, I'll have a video coming out about this. I found it very interesting. I didn't know. I found this out just about a few weeks ago. Okay. And then Akari, would love to meet you on the New Earth soon. Yes, I am looking forward to meeting all of you. Actually, that would be so cool. So Amanda, how many of the 12,000 know that they are the 12,000? Okay, so I have this question written down, Amanda, because you asked me under the video the other day. I appreciate this question because I hadn't even thought of asking this. My thinking here, and it's my intuition. So, and oftentimes when I have these intuitions, the 25th just expands on it because normally I'm not completely off, right? My intuition is that one way or the other, basically all of us who are part of the 12,000 are going to find out or have an inkling, even if it's not obvious, like me being told or my hypnotist being told. We're going to have an inkling that we are doing something. We're supposed to do something here. Now, we're going to know for sure, like from a conscious perspective, while we're taking this down, like when we're taking this down. But I'm saying even in preparation to come up to that point, I have an inkling that all of us somehow across the world are finding this out. Because I do believe, and again, I'm going to get the lowdown on this, I do believe that there is value, there is a reason we're supposed to find out. Let me put it this way, what Akari just said, me finding this information when we're about to take this down, these things are not coincidences. We have built up for many years to get to the point where we would be present to this information. No matter what you've done, no matter what your history looks for you, and everybody's history is different, somehow we're at the same point, same place right now on this live, for example, to get this information. There's a reason for this. We don't just waste our time. We don't just do things randomly, even when things just happen to be falling in our lap. Even more, when things just happen to be falling in our lap, there's a reason. Our higher self is saying, here you go. This is what you need to know, what you've been asking to know. So I have a feeling that, yes, everybody's probably aware of this or becoming aware of it before the takedown. And I'll find out why. I wonder if it has to do with the fact that we need to remember our training and what we were meant to do. Now, I consciously don't remember what we do as the 12,000 still, just because I know I'm one of the 12,000 I was told. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And there are the people, it's not just the 12,000 doing stuff, right? We're all doing stuff. Somebody might not be one of the 12,000. They're supposed to do a certain thing. They might not know consciously that they're doing it, but they might also now learn it more and more as we get closer. Because remember, this is a group effort. Everybody here on this planet at this time is doing something. We're all the same. As I mentioned before, the analogy I've used is like the 12,000 are like the plumbers, but guess what? We need the electricians. We need the carpenters. We're all the same. Okay. Okay. EDC, when we all meet, I will teach you all funny dance moves. I cannot wait. And you know what is funny that you're saying that? Because I love how you guys sometimes ask questions. I'm like, you guys are reading my mind. I just wrote down a question for the 25th where I'm asking, hey, are we going to have dance and songs? And we're going to be singing? We're going to have music on New Earth? Because I mean, I want all of that, right? I'm sure I'm not the only one. I don't want just, angelic music. I want to be like, doing rock and roll, whatever it is that we're going to be doing. So yes, hold a thought for the funny dances. That's going to be awesome. Okay. Lorraine is up for funny dance moves. Awesome. Anything that is fun. I think we're going to have a lot of fun, guys. I truly am excited about that. So Manda, you're very welcome, Manda. Just thank you for asking the question. I love it. I have a couple of other questions from other people that they've asked me. So I would like to cover those as well, if you guys are interested, because I thought they were pretty good questions. All right, I'm going to read here. Okay, so my friend Christy Carson, hi Christy, if you're still there. Why are holograms becoming so much more prominent in the collective consciousness these days? Is it in preparation for the fake alien invasion? She asked me, why are holograms becoming prominent? And I added, are they in preparation for the fake alien invasion? Basically, the question is why in general? Like everything else, what becomes prominent is an idea that's being pushed by a certain group that is appealing to a certain number of people. Because again, you don't have to have absolutely everybody as a collective latching on to an idea for that idea to manifest, okay? And if you saw my Ukrainian war video, only a few people have to latch on to an idea for that idea to be real. If it's real for enough people, it will manifest in that way. And one of the things 25th has told us is that a lot of stuff that the dark side has come up with that they would like to see manifested actually cannot be manifested in this reality anymore. Like nuclear attacks, for example. Some people are talking about that because they have lost the power of numbers. Not enough people are interested in manifesting these ideas anymore. For two reasons. One, because a lot of people within the dark team have already left. They've gone back to the 25th. And we knew a lot of them would do that because they basically want to heal. They want to heal themselves. They have not had fun themselves for a long time. And two, because those people that are in it, they're fully in the middle. So I don't know if you guys remember, there's 20% on the side of the dark, or there was 30% on the side of the light. And then there's the 50% in the middle, which is like a continuum with people like dipping in and out of dark and whatnot. A lot of the people that were more on the side of the dark, so supporting these ideas, manifesting, they're not here anymore because the third group of people, which are the people going to the 3D chambers, they've already started leaving. In fact, the question that I am going to ask later this week, tomorrow actually, in my hypnosis session is what percentage of the 3D people have already left and gone to the 3D chambers? Because the second we're done with that, all the stuff that you see from the dark will collapse. So there will be the thing recalled, all of that, because this has to be maintained by someone, and the people maintaining these ideas basically are leaving. They're no longer here. The other thing I was going to say about this, let me see here, fake alien invasion. don't remember if I put this video out yet, but it should be coming out. Guys, I prepare this video as soon as I get the information. I prepare all the videos in advance and schedule them. Because again, one, I don't want to overwhelm you with all the information at once. And two, I want to make sure I get it out there. And so I don't know when a video has been released or not yet. I think this is not being released necessarily. The fake alien invasion, I actually had a dream. So I had a dream, I think this was 2 weeks ago, where I saw aliens. I mean, the sky was littered with alien ships, but it was all normal. There was nothing, no big deal. And nobody was freaking out. And then I saw that the government said, oh my goodness, now we got to create the scare tactic. We're gotta basically put out there that this is scary, they're coming to attack, and nobody cared. Okay, everybody was totally chill. Why is that? Is what I was referring to right now, which is the people that would have freaked out, the people going to the 3D chambers are no longer here. So that's not going to happen. So yes, they did. So the moral of this, of the answer to this question, Christy, is that there was this idea it was going to happen. They were prepping it, but it's not going to happen. So, but that's why they started putting holograms in our collective consciousness, because that's how we created, how we manifested, right? They're like, oh, this is possible. And so it's not going to, but it's not going to take place. A lot of the plans they had planned for us are not going to take place. Okay. Oh, okay. I had your part of your question, EDC, where you said, where you talked about the viruses. Oh, one thing, EDC, that I had marked here for myself to answer today. You wrote, and I answered this a little bit the other day for you under the video. You wrote, a channeler recently received that we collectively scripted a nuclear bomb explosion, possibly by Russia, possibly in Europe. It is meant to target a dark place and actually be a good thing for us. We script this, and will this event take place? So similar to what I mentioned to you in writing the other day, it's not going to happen. And again, it connects to what we were just talking about. None of this is going to happen because the people wanting this kind of reality, and I like how it's under the guise of it's good for us. We're supposed to be happy. When they say things like this, because a nuclear explosion is not good. Okay, I don't care how you slice it. When they say stuff like this, it's because they're trying to trick the light workers to believe something that's not. You're like, make it sound like it's good. So already, I don't even know who this person is. I don't want to know. Sounds very sketchy to me. I'm just going to leave it at that. And here you actually had another question that is actually also excellent. What causes mental illnesses like bipolar disorder? I am going to ask this question specifically. However, I had already asked about, what did I ask about dementia? And actually they said that what happens with dementia, which is when a person basically lives in the past or remembers the past and doesn't even know, but doesn't even recognize things right now. What happens in those cases is that the essence has left the body. Now, the essence leaves the body all the time. Even, as I said, even in our daily life, we're more gone than we're actually here. That's perfectly fine. But the essence keeps coming back, okay, several times a day or several times a week or several times a month, whatever it is. However, there are cases where the essence is just disinterested in this game. Maybe the life is very boring, whatever the reason might be, or the essence like wants to move on. Most of the time, they just take the body. If they're done with this experience, they're like, okay, boring. They will figure out a way to make something happen to their body, okay? Either a disease, they got run over by a car, they jump off a cliff, whatever it is. They'll say, okay, I don't need this body anymore, I'm moving on. But there are rare cases where the essence thinks, oh, I might want to come back. Or, you know, I promised these teammates that I would hang around for a certain number of years. Say that I'm the father in a family and I said I would be here for 7 years, but I'm 50 years old and I'm really not interested in being here. I might be gone. I might take off and come back after 5 years, take a quick look and maybe leave again. Most of the time, nothing happens. Okay. And again, we don't really see a difference in general between NPCs and bodies with essences, because the only difference is that essences learn. So bodies with essences might behave exactly the same way as NPCs. It's just that there's a difference there that the essence actually learns and wants to know things, so it might change course. That's why a lot of NPCs, for example, repeat the same things. And I know EDC was made a funny joke about that the other day, where it goes, oh, I've been, you know, if you've been in the same relationship for a long time or the same job or whatever it is, then you must be an NPC. And of course, that's not, you know, it was a joke. It's not necessarily true. But that is one way that you can see if somebody's an NPC, because normally souls want to grow and do different things. normally. It doesn't mean you don't learn from something. Like in this case, ADC does video gaming. I'm sure that's like new every day, something new happening. But basically what happens is sometimes the soul does leave, the essence does leave. And what happens is that the body cannot adjust. So the body has a breakdown. And so what dementia is that the body is actually going in loops. The mind cannot deal with the lack of the essence, with the absence of the essence. So the body keeps recreating a certain reality that might not be the present reality. And in fact, when you think about people with dementia, every once in a while, their loved ones will say things like, oh, he recognized me for the first time today. It might have been that the essence came back for like an hour, 2 hours, and then the essence left again. So it's fascinating when I heard this, but I do have that video coming out, and I will ask a question about bipolar disorder and other conditions that I think are interesting. I'm curious to know. All right, let me just see if there are any more questions here. Hi, Josie. Good morning to you. It's lovely to see you guys. I know you from the comments, so I feel like we're friends. So the fact that we quote unquote are hanging out now, I love it. It's really cool. Okay, Manda, I heard Stellar Faribane say that one of the really big families had left. So I don't know who this person is. That's a very cool name though, I like it. One of the really big families had left. You know what? Many more than just one family. A lot of the people we think are here are not here. They keep these images. It's not even clones. There are no clones. They keep these images going. And I think I have a video about clones coming out tomorrow, actually. They keep these images going because the dark has no more tricks up their sleeve. So all they can do is recreate the same thing. Like, I don't know, some of these people should be 300 years old and we still see them. I'm like, we're not gonna die. It's all boring. That's the thing. They're bored. They can't come up with any new stuff. We're bored. We're like, oh, we've seen this already. Like Gates. I mean, I don't even know how many times Gates is supposed to have been dead. But anyway, so yeah. So yes, I'm sure, I know many more than just one family have left. Fear Baron. Okay, that's a very cool name. I don't know where this person is from, but it's very cool. And I will be so pleased when that darn is, the V is withdrawn. Yeah. Heath, could you please add schizophrenia to that list of illnesses you inquire about? Yes, I will. So let me just make a note of this. Yes, I will, Heath. That's good. Thank you. I have a couple of cousins who are experiencing it. Thank you so much. Yeah, of course. I want to know too, right? This is all good. So thank you for the question. Ruthie. Hi, Ruthie. Mitchell. Hi, Clay. I think you as always much love and light. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. I do love to see you guys. When I see your names, as I said, I recognize you guys. I think of you guys as friends. So I love when you show up like this. It's like a surprise for me. Okay, Josie. Yes, I'm glad I checked out YouTube. Which group of people are leaving at the moment? Okay. Right now, we're still dealing with the 3D people leaving. You might realize, if you don't pay attention, you won't realize, which is perfectly okay. A lot of us don't want to pay attention because otherwise it becomes rough, right? We're still here. We're still trying to pretend this is real so we can just focus on our life and surviving until we're ready for this. So absolutely no judgment. It's not to say, oh my goodness, you're not paying attention. So I normally don't pay attention because I don't really want to know. I don't want to interact. I don't want to interact with people thinking, oh God, they have no soul. Oh God, they have no essence. I mean, it's not fun, right? However, I've run into a couple of people where I'm like, oh, I don't think there's anybody there. Okay, it was quite obvious. So you're going to notice, if you do notice, or if you do want to notice, that there are a lot of people that have left. Okay, there are more and more NPCs. So just take a breather, take a breath when you do realize it, because it's tough, especially the first time you realize. The first time I was so frazzled because I'm like, oh, it's like you're talking to a wall. It's very frustrating, especially if you're trying to connect. And how do we connect? We connect through the eyes, we connect through the energy, we connect soul to soul, right? So it's very, what's the word I want to use? It's very, it's not just frustrating. It's almost like you feel like frazzled when you realize you're dealing with an NPC. So if you're curious, do pay attention, go out and say, oh, I like to realize if I'm dealing with an NPC today, most likely you're going to run into somebody. There's a lot of them now because, again, that third group of people, the people going to the 3D chambers, there's 1 billion of them. It's a lot of people leaving. So I'm sure you know somebody who's left already, but not all of them are done leaving. This is one question I have actually for tomorrow's session, to find out where we are with this, because it's going to take several weeks, right? But it has started, I want to say, a month ago, probably even earlier than that. And so by now we should be almost done. So I will find out the new timeline and what's happening with this group of people. I also want to find out what percentage of the dark has already left. So I will follow up on that. Okay, EDC, that nuke channel was good for 3 years, but recently went dark. Okay, that's why I had to check with you. Yeah, it just makes sense to me. Anybody who's excited about talking about nuclear attacks is not, or saying it's a good thing. It's just, again, just sounds weird to me, which there's a place for everybody. Again, this is not to throw anybody under the bus. And so, but again, just you, because I'm sure there are people following it and they have no problem with that. And it's perfectly okay. Either way, it's not going to happen. So it doesn't really matter, right? But for you, you were at the point where you're like, that doesn't sound right anymore. And this is how we grow. I've watched all kinds of things, even just intel things. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm bored of this, I'm bored of that. That doesn't resonate anymore. We change, right? We learn, we grow, we experience. And it's good that we can experience all these different things. It's fun. Josie, okay, good. I'm glad. And I always want to hear, if I give an answer and it's not clear, please do let me know. You're not going to hurt my feelings. We're here to figure out what's going on, okay? So we all do the thinking together here. It's not just me telling you guys stuff. I get a lot back from you guys besides just questions. It's how you think about things. This adds to my understanding too. As I said, we're a group and we're working together here. It's not just a one-way street. And I know you guys feel that and you know this. Okay, empty, yeah. So Bader, thank you for all your answers and feedback. Absolutely, Bader, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us. Josie, thank you. I've often wondered about those that are still using the masks. They seem kind of off to me. They seem to still be playing the narrative. Okay, so again, there are two possibilities here, only two options. One is you're an NPC. As an NPC, you just follow what the matrix, what the energy of the matrix says. So they don't even think about it. It's like, you're telling me to wear a mask, I wear a mask. If you told them to wear a mask on their eyes while they're driving, they will wear a mask while they're driving, not because they're idiots. It's because this is their job. It's just to go along. In fact, the 25th has told us before that if we had much higher polarity, positive polarity here, the NPCs wouldn't even be so dark because they just go with the flow. Now, we as essences, we do choose. But what's happening now with people wearing a mask is that a lot of people go into the 3D chambers. And even some of the people going to hang out with the aliens, they have to believe in this, okay? That's why we cannot really judge, because we don't really know what the essence is planning in the background. I know it's very frustrating for some of us. I get it, okay? I'm not perfect. I'm still like, why are you doing this, right? Because we think with our brains and with our knowledge and all of that. But the truth is, there is a purpose to this. These people, the people going to 3D chambers, they will think they remember history because they're going to lose time. They're going to go there and they're going to think that there is a huge time distance in between this, which is going to be history, and where they're at in this beautiful place, right? And they're going to think, oh, we learned from that because we then discovered they lied to us and the masks were just meant to manipulate us. So it's important. It's important that they have this experience, okay? They're not just doing this because they're dumbasses, okay? They can't figure it out. So we have to learn to think beyond just the appearances of things, okay? And I'm not saying that you do this, I'm saying in general. I know I've been very judgmental of people going along with this narrative, so I'm really mostly talking about myself. But I've gotten better. Now that I understand the behind the scenes part, I've gotten better. And also was saying it could even be people wearing these masks that are going to hang out with the aliens. Why? Because even they, once they go there and they realize all this is coming down, because not that many of us know this is coming down consciously right now. But so they go hang out with the aliens will explain to them, or maybe they might even be able to see the planet coming down. We're actually going to find out about this. This is one of Lorraine's questions. She wants to know, what are these people going with the aliens going to know about the dissolution of the planet? Will they actually see it? Will they know what happened? And I think, yes, I think they're actually going to be shown. But we're going to ask formally. And so basically, even these people, they might have worn a mask until the day before. And then they are like, oh, look at that. And then now they teach other planets, other civilizations what not to do. Yeah, governments don't work. Yeah, you know, they lie to you. We can have centralized power, whatever that might be. Okay. So the bottom line is there is a purpose to everybody's behavior. Nobody's a fool. Nobody, I know we act like fools here. I mean, I've acted enough times like a fool in my life to know this firsthand. We act like fools here, but it's a game we play. It really is a game we play. And we have this objective behind the scenes that sometimes not even known, consciously known to ourselves. So we just have to start with that understanding. And so that's what's happening with these people wearing the mask. There's definitely a lot going on behind that. Let me see, let me make sure. Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah, Lorraine, yes, Barbara, I saw a bunch of people with masks the other day. It seemed so weird and their energy was really strange as well. NPCs for sure, most likely. At this point, most likely, even if they were 3D people before, they may have left. So yes, absolutely. Helena, do you protect yourself from bad energies before you hypnosis session? I don't. You know why? I don't believe in bad energy. I don't believe bad energy is for me. I don't believe that bad energy is going to affect me. I trust the work that I do. I trust that I take my ego out of the equation. I trust that I come from the light, and I've even double checked that because I don't want to trust too much. I just know myself, and I have a good nose for BS and even my own BS. I always, and everybody who knows me again knows this, I'm always like, when I hear something or when I like to believe something, I'm always thinking, is this truth? This idea, is it flattering to me? Because if it's flattering to me, I'm like, this is a little bit too convenient. Let me see what's actually going on. So I don't play these games. So I don't have to protect my energy. This is not about our energy. I'm connecting to something that is inside of me. We're connected at all times. This is another game that some people like to play, say, oh, we have to put a bubble, whatever it is. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Okay. So just to be clear, I've actually done that in the past. Okay. So this is not judging anybody. If you believe that you need a bubble around you will make you feel better, do that. There is no right or wrong here. It's just what works for you. I'm at a point where I realize how powerful we are, and it took me a long time to get here. So again, it's not like I sprung up like this, on day one. And I realized that, yeah, I don't want to believe in the negative energy anymore. You know what? I believe I'm a being of light, and I want to play in the light, and I want to feel like we are powerful individuals, and I'm gonna go with that for now. So I don't do it, but it doesn't mean that nobody should do it or that it's wrong to do it. Or so, yeah, as I said, in the past, I've done meditations where, you ground yourself. There are people that even put invisibility cloaks on them. I am nothing against any of this. These are all ideas that come from the light. So it's all good, right? So, but that's a good question. I hadn't even thought about it. EDC, NPCs wear masks in the shower. Listen, maybe they're trying, they don't want to wash their face. Maybe they have makeup on. Okay, EDC, don't judge. And as long as they're waterproof masks. All right, Helena, what about all that is, okay, hold on one second. Let me read this properly. What about all that is only believes in our unconscious? Okay, let me make sure I understand this. What about all that is, it only believes in our unconscious? I'm not sure what that means, Helena, and I don't want to just randomly answer. Do you mind specifying? I do want to answer the question for you. I just not quite sure what you're referring to. Akari, I also wonder if their current projected timeline will have been accelerated for taking down the game board or stays the same. I just wish you won't be delayed because, okay. So you're in for a treat, Akari. No, it will not be delayed. The timeline, since I started in August, has only been accelerating. So when I connected in August, 3 days I even connected, I had a dream. And in my dream, they told me it was 1 to 2 years. Okay. So we're going to be done at the end of 2023 or something. Well, it was August. So 1 to 2 years. Yeah. It could have been the August 2023, I guess. That was 2021. Yeah. And then when I did my first hypnosis session, they told me that it was 1 to 2 years. They confirmed that. And then my second hypnosis session, they told me was going to be October of this year. No, I'm sorry. They told me it was going to be January or February 2023 on the outside. Then they said it was going to be October. And now they're saying by the summer, we will be done. So no, the logistics have quote unquote delayed us in the sense of they take time. And the major logistics we've had are the logistics about the group going to 3D chambers because again, they're moving over several weeks. It's not like a second, okay? And 2 is the actual ships coming and picking up people, because they're picking them up with their bodies, okay? So it takes time. The people going to New Earth will go very quickly, and I'm going to get all the lowdown, all the details of how this works. And the 12,000 will leave like a second after, or the people have gone to New Earth will take this down. So it has not been delayed in that sense. In fact, it is accelerating, which I think we're all ready to move on. So I'm not surprised. Akari, I truly enjoyed this video. Thank you for all the work you do. When we watch this video tomorrow, I gotta go now. Of course, have a good night. I am so happy you were able to join us. Thank you so much. Josie, thank you for clarification. Of course, I too don't judge them. I say a silent prayer for them and I'll send them love. I mean, that's just beautiful. So yes, and that's the best way to be also for our own selves, because I mean, I don't feel good when I judge people. It doesn't make me feel good. And you know what? We judge based on the real appearances, truly. And do we want to be judged like that? I know I don't. I'm sure I do lots of things that seem very strange to most people. I'm not even talking about connecting to the 25th. I'm saying just in my daily life, you know, I'm sure we can all learn to be kinder to each other. And again, I think I'm talking to myself. And this is something that I've been working on, because now, no judgment towards our judgment either. I want to remind you that judging is how we keep this vibration. For this planet to be real, concrete, solid in the way that we look at it, you know, as solid as holographic reality can be, we have to keep it in a tight range of vibration, a tight range of frequency. The 25th has actually explained this to us. Because of this, we have to judge it. This is what we do. We have to basically create this low level vibration to keep this happening. We do it in many ways. One was with pain, and I mentioned that in my video about message from God. One is with food, for example. The reason we ingest certain foods is to keep the vibration. These are codes. Anything you ingest, even air or the sun, is a code, okay? What is a code? It's like a piece of coding that keeps the software running, right? So the things that we do all have meaning. And one of the things we do is judging. By judging and separating ourselves is how we keep this vibration in that range. And of course, we do want to play the separation game here. And we do want to isolate things. And how do you isolate it? How do you isolate things or people? Is by judging them. Because the moment you judge them, it's like they're different from you, they're separate from you. Because I'm not going to be judging my left arm, but if I think it's somebody else, I'm like, oh, what is that person doing? So I love what you said here. But again, I also want us to remember to be compassionate with ourselves. We judge, okay? It's one of the things we do here, and it's just the way it is. It's actually the way that our brain works, because what is really judging? You're deciding, yes, this is for me. Yes, this is not for me. I like this, I don't like that. So judgment can really be a good thing for us to do in many instances, is what teaches us to move forward, just like the stuff we were talking about. I read The Journey of Souls. It's a great book, but it's not for me, because I know something else. Doesn't mean the people that believe it and live by it, and doesn't mean they're idiots. Of course they're not idiots. I mean, I'm sure that book has helped so many people, and it's a beautiful book. I mean, I enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it, even though I don't believe it. So that's what I mean. So let's keep everything in perspective, that even if we were not able, say we're having a bad day and we are honking at the guy who cuts us off in traffic, we're human, okay? We're all playing the game. So we just need to remember to be kind to ourselves and to love ourselves first and foremost. This is really what it's about. So I hope you guys, I think this is it. Oh no, EDC, I have lucid flying dreams quite often. I hope we can fly on the earth. We don't even have to fly. Of course you can fly if that's what you want to do, but we don't even have to fly. We project ourselves from even throughout space without even in a split second. You don't even have to fly. Flying still means you're moving through some kind of space, and you can though. Yeah, I want to play. I want to try that, but that's going to be a game, and we know it's a game because we don't even have to fly. Fly is slow, you know, compared to what we can do with our thought. Helena, I mean, why do people get attacked from bad energy and always need protection? Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, is there a belief that is creating all that? Yes, it is. So thank you for specifying. Yes, if you believe that you're being attacked. In fact, I have a video about this. I thought I already released it, but maybe I haven't. In the title, there was something about negative energy attacks or something like that, because I have friends who want to be spiritual, and I don't mean in a judgmental way. It's like us, okay? We want to think about these things. We want to be spiritual. We want to be open to spirit, to the idea of spirit. And they love saying that they get attacked. And then when I ask them what kind of attacks they get, they might say, oh, my technology is not working. Or, things that I have the same stuff happening. And it's not like I'm thinking, oh, it's a negative energy attack. It's just the idea, right? What they want to believe. And I do. And it's because it makes them feel good. It makes them feel like they're doing the work of the light. And in their mind, to do the work of the light, you have an enemy, is the dark, right? Considering that I'm getting this information, I'm beyond that. I realize the dark is not my enemy, right? We're teammates. So I have no reason. It doesn't make me feel good to think, oh, I'm being attacked. And not only, I have a child, I have pets. I don't want anything bad to happen. I don't even want to open myself up to the idea that I can be attacked, because then you do create it in your own life. And yes, it is the person creating it. If you think your technology is going to break down, try it. Your technology will break down. We make everything happen around us. And I just don't want to open myself up to the idea that I could be attacked in my own house, or that I could have entities in my house. I don't like that. And so that's not for me. Okay. It's like people who see ghosts. It's not for me. It's like people who speak to people who have passed. It's just not for me. But there are people who love it. There are people who learn so much from that. So this is not a judgment on that. Just because it's not for me, I'm not going to sit here and say they shouldn't be doing this. That's wrong. So yes, there are people that believe they're being attacked, and therefore they will experience the attack. Absolutely. Oh, from Lebanon, Helena. I love Lebanon. One of my best friends lives there, and I've been there twice, and I love Lebanon. And thank you, EDC. In fact, thank you all. It looks like we're done with all the questions. So I really, really, really want to thank you guys, because again, just beyond the live today, just in general, you guys really make it worthwhile for me to do these videos. And I feel like we are changing the world, and we are moving on in the direction that we have envisioned for a long time. And this is a big deal for me. So thank you for being here and the support. I feel it, and it means a lot to me. And especially like when you comment even under my videos and stuff, it seems like just saying, that's why I always say, just even say hi. That's all it takes. I just, it just feels good to know that I'm not here just shouting into the ether, but we actually have a tribe of other people that want these things. Because again, I don't have the personality that some of these prophets have had, where they're like, oh, I don't care, I believe, it's just me. I'm a normal person. Okay, so thank you again, and take care of yourselves. And if you want, I will continue setting these up once monthly. So if you have more questions or questions about my recent videos that I've been put out in the meanwhile, then I would like to answer them for you. All right, take care of yourselves, and I really thank you again.